Welcome to my show. This is the title wall with a self-portrait, and I think about 50% of the show is original work, and the other half is reproductions from pieces that I've sold that I no longer own. I curated the show to showcase different categories in the work that I do. So there's fine art work, there's, which includes portraiture, there's some of my commercial work, some book illustration and gaming illustration, and then some miscellaneous fine art stuff. And in the end, as we go around the room, there's a wall dedicated to the work that I do that's predominantly black and white for Inktober, which is like a month-long art challenge in October each year. But we can move around the room and I can talk a little bit about each category. The main wall over here showcases my portraiture. The 5 larger pieces in the center row are originals, and they're all from a portrait show, a solo show I had back in 2014. Most of the rest of the portraits on this wall and these 3 walls here are paintings that I did for a gallery called Everyday Original. And there's more information on this wall about what that is, but it's an online gallery. And I had a day when my work was featured each month. And I was with them for 7 years, so I made lots of paintings. And I tended to focus in on portraiture when I was doing the work for Everyday Original. So you can see on these walls, it's mostly portraiture here. We can move on over here. I have some horse paintings. These are personal works. And then pet portraits, which tend to be commissions. Pretty much all the color work you see is acrylic. I paint with acrylic paint. And, but quite a bit of the work is mixed media, especially with these smaller animal portraits. It tends to end up being a little bit of everything. And then over in this area, I've got some of my commercial work. These 2 walls are dedicated to a book that I illustrated in 2019 and 2020 for Suntop Editions. And I have a process wall because I teach here at this school. I wanted a portion of the show to be dedicated to process for the edification of students here. And then an original piece and some of the interior illustrations from the book. And then these 2 walls are for my gaming artwork. This is an original piece, and then a collection of some of the work that I've done for Magic, the role-playing card game, and then a few pieces that I've done for Dungeons and Dragons, and the books that have the printed artwork inside. We'll jump over here. This is some more personal fine art. I've been painting this series of geisha paintings off and on since 2016. Again, I have a process wall mostly for students, so they can see how a piece starts from the very beginning until the finished pieces. These are all original paintings. And then there's a link here to an article that I wrote, which is specifically about the creation of these two paintings. So there's a QR code here, so you can go online and read that article. And then the final section here, these 6 pieces here are originals. This is a mixed media process that I've been developing and evolving over the last 8 or 9 years. It begins with a pencil drawing, and then it's inked with a Pilot parallel pen, and then that ink is pushed around, and then I go to acrylic paint at that point, and to finish the piece. The process is showcased here in a series of steps with a description of how I approach this process. And these are mostly done for that October Art Challenge that many artists join in on online in October each year. Additionally, this is a process that I teach to my students. So each semester, they're given the assignment to take their own photo reference, light the skeleton in the art studio, and then we spend 4 or 5 days on this process, and I take them through step by step, day by day. Teaching the process, and I also do the project with them. So this piece here was from last semester, and this is from maybe 1.5 years ago. And then there's a whole wall of reproductions of these pieces that I've sold. This piece here was another piece I did with my students. The subject matter on these mostly being pop culture figures or cultural icons. Some of my favorites. That's it. Thank you for stopping by. You can keep that.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah. I paint with watercolor, kind of for fun. It's you work with watercolor. It's a discipline. It's the one that's hard for me to teach.
Yeah, but I bring him up because he wound up at one point stumbling across this freelance project to do like a Clifford Stills sort of abstract thing, but it was from a company that wanted to do their corporate colors, and he thought that was kind of cheesy.
Yeah, it's weird where